I felt an immense amount of guilt, to be honest. I felt very much responsible for that. I created the situation.
Welcome back to Access Hollywood's Housewives Nightcap. I'm Lauren, and Emily, I feel like we just need to talk about the obvious.
We have to talk about it because you and I had the same exact idea without even coordinating it. We are wearing blazers tonight because our next guest loves a good blazer. Welcome, Meredith.
I love that. I do love a good blazer. That is definitely my style. So, of course, I have one on too.
We always have our guests choose the drink of choice, and today Meredith chose vodka straight up with a twist. So we've all got our drinks here. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers. And I just need to point out that it's 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time for you guys. So we're having fun.
We're having fun. We're getting loose.
Starting early.
We are starting early because we just have so much to talk about with you, so much to break down.
Okay, so let's get into breaking down this last episode that aired. So, all about Sundance. Let's first talk about the moment that is kind of all about Heather's love life. She tells Whitney that she's looking for a man and she'd really like to find love, but there's nobody in the community for her or in Salt Lake. Do you think that there is really nobody for Heather, or do you think that perhaps there's other things preventing her from finding love?
You know, I think that there definitely is somebody for Heather, and it's a matter of finding the right person. I will say that the large majority of my single friends sort of say the same thing, no matter what city they're in and who they are. And I think it's, you know, it's a tough journey trying to find somebody, especially when you've already been married once and you know truly what you don't want. I think it makes it a little bit tougher because you're not looking, like when you're young and you really want to get married and have children, there's a lot more there that you might be willing to tolerate than when you've already been married once and have had children. So yes, I think there are people out there. I think Heather's been, you know, a little bit afraid too, so that, you know, if you're trepidatious on your own, then that limits you even more. But no, there's for sure somebody out there. She just has to find the right person, and hopefully we can all help her with that.
We need a setup. I would love that. Or we bring in a $1 million matchmaker, Patty.
Oh, that would be fun. I like that idea.
I love that idea. But how are the men in Salt Lake City? Like the eligible bachelors, like how would you describe them?
I honestly don't know a ton of eligible bachelors in Salt Lake, or I would be setting Heather up left and right. Most of the single men I know in Salt Lake are gay, so that would not be a proper setup for Heather.
Did you feel sad for Heather when she said she has never been in love before?
That does make me sad because, you know, it's hard. I mean, especially knowing that she was married for many, many years, and it's sad. It's something that everyone should experience and feel, and I think it even makes it that much harder to co-parent with a, you know, in a divorce situation when you never did really have love there. That's tough. It's a difficult situation.
Well, I think we can all, like, it's safe to say that we can raise a glass to Heather and like wish her the best.
We need to find her love. I really love Heather.
Let's drink to Heather finding love. I will drink to that.
She deserves it.
Ooh, straight up vodka. Woo! Okay, I'm ready to go.
Let's go. We're ready.
We're ready. Okay, so I think that's like a perfect segue into our next moment. Moment number 2. We have to talk all about your son's fashion show. As a mom, how proud were you of this moment?
I mean, it's incredible for me as a mother to see my child, you know, he started his brand, I don't know, probably about almost a year before that fashion show. Okay. And he worked really, really hard on it. You know, he did everything on his own. I mean, he really, like, everything. I gave him guidance, but I didn't do one thing to help him with this other than give guidance.
Brooks is becoming a huge fan favorite, I'm sure you know. how is he loving this new kind of spotlight?
I think he's still acclimating in a lot of ways to it. I don't think it was anything he really expected. You know, I think he was like, oh, my mother's on a show, but I don't think he really thought it was going to have, he was going to have as big of a presence as he has. So he's still kind of getting used to it, taking it slowly.
Well, I remember you saying that you're a private person and then your family's this private family, and now you have this spotlight, especially now this season, on your marriage. And we see that your husband unfortunately could not come to the fashion show. So how did you feel about that? I know Brooks obviously was pretty upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt an immense amount of guilt, to be honest. I felt very much responsible for that. I created the situation, and, you know, under normal circumstances, Seth would have been there. And really, through all of our separations, he was always there. It was because this was such a dramatic separation for us, where we really physically needed to be apart. Mm-hmm. And I felt very guilty, because that was why my kids didn't know about anything about what was going on for so long, was because I really did want to shield them and protect them from having hurt feelings and stuff like that. And so I felt very responsible. It kind of broke my heart, to be honest.
I think you were really hard on yourself. I really do. I mean, your kids seem amazing. You seem like an incredible mom. You are doing what's best for your marriage, which is ultimately best for your family. So I think you should, like, just watching that broke my heart too, because we all have, you know, broken, you know, our own stories with that. And you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. This is just my 2 cents.
Thank you. I mean, I understand, like, I'm not sitting there beating myself up, but I still feel I am responsible for, you know, the actions that I take. And I do feel like I have to take responsibility. So it did make me feel sad. It's not like I felt like, oh, I should have never done this. It just made me sad and made me feel a little bit guilty, you know?
So did Seth want to come, and then you decided, hey, we just had this big blow up, we need our time?
I mean, in reality, you know, yes, Seth wanted to come. He did want to be there. There were other factors going on. Like he did actually have a funeral that weekend, and, you know, for a business associate. And I do think, though, if we had not been, you know, in the space we were in, he obviously would have come in over going to the funeral. I think, I don't know, really, I shouldn't say that, but I'm guessing that he would have. It's possible he might not have, but, you know, I do think that, but for the state we were in, he would have been there. I do think so.
Okay, one more question, then we should definitely go into Sip or Spill, because I have so many questions.
And we need to liven this up.
Wait, what?
I know, I feel like we're on heavy time.
We need to liven this up. We need to make this into a party as I'm.
This is heavy.
I know, this is heavy stuff, so I'm going to have another sip.
I know. I'm sorry. It does seem like you guys are managing this as well as you can, though, in such a spotlight on camera and all of this. But it also does kind of seem like you are the one pushing for the space, perhaps needing it more. Would that be fair to say?
No, I mean, maybe at that moment, yes. You know, it definitely at that moment, for sure, I was the one who asked for the space. But no, it's really has ebbed and flowed at different points, you know, where there have been many points where Seth really wanted more space, and I was like, no, wait, please don't, you know, and vice versa, as you saw. So no, it was, both of us really needed room to figure things out. Seth has asked me for space at other points in time, and it was just not the right point for him at that point.
So where are you guys now?
Well,
I want to say watch and see on that. Sorry.
Meredith. Okay.
Meredith, come on. Okay, can you answer this? Are you happy?
I am happy. I'm very happy. Everything in life, I do think, ultimately falls into place the way it's meant to be. And going through tumultuous times, you know, if you navigate properly, it makes you better and stronger, and you grow from it. And that's exactly what's happened for me. So at the end of all of it, I am much happier. I'm much more settled. I'm in a much better place than I was in, for sure.
We love to hear that. Okay, I think let's cheers to that, because that was great. We love that you are happy, and we want nothing but the best for you. So cheers. Ooh, this straight up vodka's a little, woo, okay. But
I love it though, because it's no cows.
That is true. True.
That's the key. No juice in the drink.
Love it.
It's not the alcohol that makes you sick, it's the sugar.
You're right. You're right. All right, so let's move on to our next segment. We call this Sip or Spill. So we're gonna ask you some burning questions, and if you don't want to spill, you gotta take a sip, okay? All right, Lauren, do you wanna take it first?
Yes, okay. One of what I really want to know, will you ever have a sleepover with Jen? Will that ever happen?
I mean, look, you can never say never, but it's pretty unlikely. I'm not one who has really had many scheduled sleepovers to begin with. And the whole thing was just a little bit much. So probably not, but one never knows.
And I also have a follow-up question for this. Where is your relationship with Jen now?
So my relationship with Jen now, you know, she and I have not had a ton of communication since in the last couple of weeks. So I'm not entirely sure. You know, we're not in agreement as to the facts of how things unfolded that night, just from things that she put out on social media. And so I can't really speak to it. I'm not angry at Jen. I don't understand why she would put out things on social that were not exactly what happened, but you know, and I don't know why she wouldn't have just said, I wouldn't want your kids to feel uncomfortable, and left it at that. I'm sorry that they did, or whatever it was, but it is what it is. I mean, say la vie. I don't know where it's at, I guess, is the best answer.
Okay, I have another one. You seem to be the least judgmental regarding Mary being married to her great-grandfather. Do you find that weird, or do you just think it's, you know, you accept it and not your business?
I would say, the word I would use is that it's unusual. It is not something that you hear often. In fact, it's the first time I've ever heard of somebody marrying their step-grandfather. As you learn, you know, as we learn more, we saw last week, and when she was with Heather, and also when she was with me at dinner, you start to understand a little bit more of the circumstances that they got married in. And arranged marriages are very common all over the world, just not necessarily in the United States. Mm-hmm. And I know many of people, I mean, you know, I've spent time in India. I know many of people in India who are in arranged marriages. They love it. It's great for them. It works. So as you understand how it came about, no, it's old news. Like, it's been forever. Who cares? They have a child. They've moved forward. Yeah, it's unusual. So you hear it, and at first you're like, oh, wow. And then you say, okay, great. Are you happy? I'm happy for you. Are you not happy? Then I'm sad for you. And that's it.
I love that, Meredith. You're like so even keeled and normal.
You're so normal.
I don't know about normal, but I'm pretty
Because we see Jen, she keeps bringing it up, and she's using it as this sort of weapon towards Mary, you know, saying, making her comments, making her digs. And it feels like Mary and Jen are just going to be at odds with each other this whole season. So I have to ask, whose side are you on, Mary or Jen's?
You know, I think that's really difficult to answer, because
you can sip.
You can sip, yeah.
I need to sip. Like, I could sip anyway, maybe. I can sip and speak, right? No, I just think that they've both done things that have been upsetting to the other. And I mean, yes, I 100% understand why Mary would be really put off after what went on at the 20s party and the commentary there. But most of the rest of it seems like a lot of minutia, a lot of white noise, you know, hospital smells or not, and, you know, convenience stores. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I wasn't there for everything that happened, but the whole thing, it seems like it just seems like a lot. So I can't take a side. I can't. I don't fully understand why it is at the level. I understand why there's conflict there. I do. That I get. I understand, but I don't understand how it has escalated to the level that it's at. And that's why I can't really take a side when I don't get it.
Were you surprised at Lisa's reaction at all when she, when you told her about you and your husband's separation?
Yes and no. I knew she would be upset, which was, you know, a part of the reason why I waited so long to tell her, because we are close friends as families, you know, and I think it's very hard for anyone to deal with that when your families are close to one another. I didn't think she'd get as upset as she did. I was not surprised that she was upset. I was surprised when she started crying and like how upset she got by it. Yes, I was. But no, I knew it would be upsetting to her. I knew she would want us to work it through. I knew she would want us to be together, and I knew she'd be there to be supportive and kind of cheer us on. But I didn't know she'd get that upset. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching, I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
It was triggering.
It was, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I was surprised that like she was that rattled by it. I really was. I knew she'd be upset. I did, but I didn't think she'd cry, you know?
Right. Okay, well, last question.
That she loves us that much.
Well, that's what I'm like, you know, she obviously
I mean, I don't want to see her
like
cry, but thank you for crying. Like it made me, you know, it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, she really does, you know, care that much. And it feels good. Well, you don't want to say that because of course you don't want to make your friend cry, but
a lot of housewives have found themselves in these unconventional marriages, including Bronwyn, who just came out saying that she has a completely open marriage. She's actually dating someone else. We just talked to Ashley Darby, and she also said she's not open to an open marriage right now, but she might be in the future. I know you won't tell us where your marriage is right now, but would you ever be open to having an open marriage?
So again, we never say never. Where I sit right now, no, but that, you know, never say never. I don't think that would be for me. I think it would stir up too much internally, like where I just couldn't be in a good place with that. But I can't foresee the future. I doubt it though. I doubt it would work for me emotionally. I think, you know, not saying it's not that it's a bad thing. I just don't think it would work for me emotionally. I think it would be just too hard on me. My head would be in too many places, and I think I'd be very stressed out by it.
Makes sense. I'd be the same. I'm a full monogamist. I am. I'm like, I can't handle it. I don't know these women that say this. I'm like, maybe I just need 20 years of marriage under my belt to figure that out. I don't know.
I don't know. It would be too much on my head, I think, you know.
Yeah, you'd be like, where is he? Who's he with? Like, do I really care if he smells like another woman when he comes home, or do I not? I don't know. I smell like a man. Like, what's happening? Up the meds. Like, I couldn't take it. Up the meds. Okay, wait, I do have one more question before I let you go, though, because I forgot about this one, and it's very important. Brandy Glanville, who we know loves a Twitter, and she loves to get wild on the tweet. She tweeted calling Lisa and Jen two fake bitches, like so out of nowhere. What is your reaction to that?
I have no idea where that came from or why. I don't know what has been on the show thus far where someone would just call it like that. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
She doesn't know that.
It, like, I get it if she was saying it about somebody in Beverly Hills who she's engaged with and spent a lot of time with, but I don't think there's been enough put out there on the show as of yet where people should be making these mass judgments
Right.
of anybody. And you know, no matter what my terms are with any of the women, that's just my feeling. I don't think there's been enough put out there yet where people even really know us. So that's a big statement to make when, you know, with the very little, 6 hours you've seen, not even because of commercials.
Right.
Let's just hope she doesn't announce that she has slept with any of you, because then
who knows, that might be coming next, and she's probably never met any of us.
Next season on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
That's all we have for you guys tonight. Thank you for watching. Please comment below if you are team Jen Shah or Mary. Let us know.
Because we honestly can't decide, but make sure you tune in next week. We'll see you then.